Okay, talking about Google sellers ratings today and how the results from those are huge. I'm going to tell you how huge they are, how you can get your little, in other words, it's these little stars that show up on your Google search ads, how you can get your stars there. I'm also going to talk about how you get your stars to show up on your shopping ads, by the way, as a side, which are actually called product review, shopping product reviews, which are what those stars are called there. So why the stars on the shopping ads are called something different than the stars on the search ads, the text ads, I don't know. That's just the way that it is. There's also stars on the organic listings, which are called Schema Reviews, something else. I'm going to talk about how you get your stars that for your review of your company or your products there. Is actually can work for a service company just like a product company, even though if you're selling services, the shopping ads won't apply. How you can actually do all this though, to the degree that you can do it, what those results will be, some different options you have in the way that I would do things if I were you or if I were doing this for my own business. Okay, so let's get into it. So if you're unaware, your product review score, in other words, the stars or if sellers reviews, and we're talking about text ads, the stars that show up next to your text ads, if you want to know if you're set up right now today to get this going like now, at least as far as these text ads go, all you got to do is go to google.com/shopping/rating/account/metrics Q equals, and then put the name of your site like site.com, funeralmax.com, whatever it is. Once you hit that URL, it'll tell you if it says no site found, then you've got some more work to do first. If it says site found, you got Google ads running, these text ads running. All you got to do then is go under ads and then extensions and then scroll to the bottom of the screen. They keep changing this, but for now it's bottom of the screen. Click on automated extensions. Activate the sellers reviews extension there, and then from then on your Google stars there will start showing up right along with all your Google search ads, which are going to increase the profitability of your ads by a good 20 to 40% because it increases click-through rate, which affects quality score, all right, because that'll reduce your cost per click. You'll get more clicks from the clicks that are profitable, and then they'll cost less at the same time because you have higher click-through rates. But if you don't, and that assumes though if you have 50 reviews at least. If you don't have 50 reviews, you have to work on it. So in other words, to sum this up, if you go to this URL, you see your site there. If you don't have 50 reviews, you need to get 50 reviews. If you have 50 reviews there, all you got to do is just activate the seller's review, which is under automated extensions right there in your Google Ads account. You have to do that for every campaign that you have, the process that I gave you there to activate the seller's review under the dynamic extensions, and your stars will show up under your Google search ads across the board, as long as it's activated on each campaign individually. Now, there's something else here, which are product review ads, which in other words, get your stars to show up under your shopping ads, which shopping ads generally people like those because they're so profitable already. You'll get even more profit from your shopping ads if you get these product review stars to show up underneath your shopping ad itself. Considerable amount more, 30 to 60% more ROI from what I've seen before and after this has been where it wasn't showing up for our average client and after. So whereas the stars showing up on the text ads, you get 20 to 40% increase in ROI just by having that before and after. Shopping, it's even greater. Why? Basically draws the eye more. 30 to 60% more ROI. So these are both huge things to do. If you're an e-commerce business, you want both. If you're a service business, you at least want to get the stars to show up on your text ads. But to get the stars to show up on your shopping ads, this site in itself doesn't apply. What you're going to have to do then is make sure you'll just go ahead and check your shopping ad and see if the stars are already there. If they're not there, then what you need to do is you need to be using what they call a compatible third-party review aggregator, which Google has on their partner list, and at least 50 reviews there. So that would be like a site like Trustpilot. Once you have 50 reviews, automatically your stars will start showing up on your shopping ads. Then you'll get your 30 to 60% increase in ROI. Okay, so that said, there's some, depending, some different ways to go about, executing on that, because you can use third-party aggregator, or you can use, there's a manual way to upload your reviews to Google. I'm going to talk about that. There's Google has its own review tool that you can put on your site, and as long as that gets 50 reviews, you can have your stars show up here as well. Respectively, this third-party review aggregator like Trustpilot, if you have that, not only is that going to help you get your stars on the shopping ads, but it's going to help you get your stars on your search ads too, by the way. But you'll get both of these just by using that third-party aggregator and at least having 50 reviews. Organically, on your organic search listings, you have it's called the Schema Reviews. If you want your stars to show up there, even though this is a PPC channel, I just wanted to let you know. That's what those are called, by the way. What you do is you put the schema code on your site. If you have a site like WordPress and you're running a service site or whatever, you can do a plugin for Schema Review. It's actually called Schema Code. Put it on your site, and then it'll pull. If you get the right one, it'll pull from Trustpilot. It'll automatically pull from your third-party review aggregator in there, so that once Google indexes the reviews that are now on your site, your review stars show up there. Okay. Respectively, if you have on your product pages there, you have your reviews there, Google will crawl those reviews on your product page, and your stars will show up for your organic search listings there, which are called Schema Reviews again, for your listings there, since you have the reviews on the product pages themselves, okay? Respectively, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a product page, by the way. It could just be any page with the reviews on there. Those stars can actually technically show up. It's just looking on that page, is there the review schema code on the page, and is there reviews there? And if so, then you have a good chance of having your stars show up on your organic listing as well. So some general tips how to get the organic schema reviews as well. Respectively, you'll also get a nice bump, let's say 20-30% increase in click-through rate on your organic ads if you have those stars show up there as well. So if you're going to do this, you might as well do them all, is my point. Now, I got a few different examples. Not everybody gets I have a general range here of how much more your search ads will work in terms of profit. If we divide revenue by ad spend cost, how much more money you're going to be left with. 20 to 40% for these search ads and 30 to 60% for these shopping ads once the stars show up. Not everybody will get that exact amount. And so what I did was I actually broke it down. There's a few different examples here of different companies where I actually did monitor, and that's where I came up with these numbers, because I run a PPC management firm here. Before and after the stars show up. And so you can see different type of businesses, even like how much of a difference this is going to make. Okay, so respectively, there's also e-commerce and non-e-commerce here. The clothing brand, for these seller review ads, search ads, 22% increase in ROI for the client that we had there, for the one that I checked. And I had a 48% increase in ROI from the shopping ads once before and after the stars would start showing up. Looking back at my notes, I looked at a mailbox, a custom mailbox builder, which does lead generation. Okay. Respectively, they do lead generation. They also have online ordering both. So technically it is an e-commerce site, but it's mostly lead generation because it's a several $1,000 product. In their case, with the ads that show up, the stars showing up on their search ads, they got a 37% increase in ROI from before and then after with the stars showing. And then the shopping ads that they had running, it was a 53% increase in ROI. So it's a big difference just in general between that and the clothing brand. And then going one further here, I had a print shop, basically an online print shop. They had a 21% increase for having their stars show up on their search ads, and a 36% increase in ROI by having their stars show up in their shopping ads, okay? Smart shopping campaigns that I always use now because they work technically better than the old non-smart shopping. Just as a side note, that's what you want to do. 100% if you're doing it. I've proven this enough times now. Smart shopping always does better than regular shopping. So in general, though, you can see how much of a difference this can actually make on your results. Going through the little bit of tedious work to get this done. For most, the lazy man's approach is going to be to use a third-party aggregator, because you can use the third-party aggregator. They'll give you some copy and paste code to put on your site to collect the reviews. And then once there's so many collected, it'll post it to Google. Like I said, it'll show up on your search ads and your shopping ads, respectively. Okay. There's some drawbacks, though, of using the third-party aggregator code itself, which I'm going to explain to you. So, like I said, though, there's about 30 different aggregators. You can Google compatible third-party review aggregators and find which one that works for you. Trustpilot, there's a bunch of them. Once you find one that you like, it'll be easy to put code on your site, and then people on your site can start leaving your reviews. Technically, even if they leave so you have to have the code on your site, okay? Just trying to recall 100% here. If they leave the review on like Trustpilot.com and not on your site, by having the Trustpilot code on your site, which is one of these third-party review aggregators that are compatible with Google, the review counts. It just gets propagated over to Google. As I mentioned before, for your organic stars to show up, your Schema Review stars, using your search for your organic schema code, your reviews from Trustpilot itself, if they leave it on Trustpilot.com, can also propagate and show up on your site using a Schema Review code plugin. And so your review stars can show up there. So technically, whether they leave the reviews on the third-party aggregator or on your site, which on your site, it's basically going to be an iframe, essentially, or a portal, so that once you leave the review on your site, it'll show up on Trustpilot.com or whatever the service is itself. And if you leave it on the service site itself, it'll show up on your site. So it goes both ways. Anyway, so you get the general idea. Most people are using a third-party aggregator because it doesn't take advanced coding on your site. And respectively, when you Google for reviews of your company, Trustpilot will show up, so it'll show you have good reviews on Trustpilot, and actually at the same time, without doing any more work or without the person having to leave two different reviews, that same review from Trustpilot that they left, it'll be on your site. So whether they look on your site or never go to search for your company name, then reviews, or to check your reviews, they type in your company name and reviews after it on Google, they'll find your reviews and that they're good because Trustpilot.com's website is highly authoritative. Therefore, if you're paying for the service there, your reviews that are on that site will probably rank high, which is part of the value you get from it. People will see that, then they'll have the confidence to buy, and then they'll buy. The drawbacks now of using the third-party aggregators is that many times doesn't perfectly match the site design that you have. So in other words, like I said, use Trustpilot. They give you this novice-friendly code to copy and paste on your site so that people can start leaving your reviews on their site if you want, and so that your reviews can show up on your site. But you're stuck with the design that they have, okay? Whereas if you try to use if you put like a way to input reviews that are going to go on your site, if somebody's on your site wants to leave a review, you can code the way that review section looks however you want, right? So more importantly, if you do that, what's shown to the user won't be laid out if you use the third-party aggregator, won't be laid out in the way that you want. That will give the user the maximum appeal to your users to get the most people to leave the review. Generally speaking, you have your site design, in other words, and then this review widget or whatever where they're supposed to leave the reviews, it looks totally different. It looks kind of, we'll just use the word trashy, if you will, because it's clearly, not smooth transition from the site to the review. And so big sites, the review section will look like the rest of the site. Gives the user the most trust that way. You have the most flexibility with it that way. That's why they use it. So if you're trying to, on a budget, to make things easy for yourself, use the widget, it's not designed right, less people will leave your reviews, less people will trust your site in general. So that's a big thing. It may not seem like a big issue to you. People overlook the site usability and the design and the trust that goes with that as a part of being able to win in online marketing in general. I can tell you for a fact that one of the things that we often test is the review section on the site. And routinely, because half of what I do here, I manage people's PPC ads and I manage landing pages. Conversion rate optimization done on landing pages is what that is, or what that's called. Basically trying to increase the conversion rate on the where we're taking people to from the ad. That's half of my job here at Guaranteed PPC. But 10 to 100% of the conversion rate you get on that page will be based upon how that review is done. Whether you have the reviews all the way at the bottom or at the middle of the page. Are you going to have a button that's going to be able to get people drop down to the part where the reviews are on the page? What that button says. So that just with, as a whole, you're routinely going to get double-digit increase or decrease in your conversion rate of your traffic by having just a wing it approach there. And a big part of winging it would be using whatever code, Trustpilot or whatever gets you, put it on your site, and then just be happy with whatever is there. Okay? I would say that once you get to be so successful, you want your own widget, right? And you can post that data to Trustpilot, let's say, so you get all the benefits of, if you want to use Trustpilot to constantly update Google, you can do that, but at least now you won't have to compromise on the look of where the review section. So you get, like I said, the most reviews. People trust it more. People trust your site in general more because it looks like if you invest in the site and what your face looks like, then obviously you invest in the product that you're selling. And people they think if your site looks good, the service and product must be good, because a shitty looking site, obviously they didn't put much effort in my product either. So anyway, it's something to think about. Now, what a lot of times I know people have clients come in, they will have made, they know what I'm telling them there. They want the reviews to look perfect the way that they want it on their site. And they start taking reviews. Well, that because it's custom for their site, those reviews don't get posted to Google. And they've built up 100, 200 reviews. The amount of reviews that they need, going back to the minimum 50 that you need here, to get the stars to show up in the first place, to where they have the amount of reviews, but because they didn't post to Google and because they didn't use a third-party aggregation tool, Google doesn't have those reviews, and so your stars can't show up. So in that particular case, there's ways around it though. You don't have to all of a sudden move all your stuff over to Trustpilot, which I don't, or the third-party aggregator from your site to the third-party aggregator. I don't recommend that. You're not supposed to do that. What you can do is you can go directly to Google Merchant Center, and from that, you can actually upload an XML file that's formatted either static, which is a standalone XML file, or you can give them a URL to an XML auto-generated or dynamically generated file that has your reviews. In other words, the way that you most likely want to do it is the reviews. You have your programmer make an XML file, so when all the reviews that you have that come through your site, the way that you have it set up to take reviews, goes into an XML file. That XML file URL gets submitted to Google through Google Merchant Center, and then they have now your reviews. They've built that so that people can have their own review section the way that they want it without using a third-party aggregator, and you can still have your stars show up. Okay? So, respectively, once you do that, your review stars on both sections should be able to show up, okay? With that said, trying to think if I have any more comments about this. if you do have a custom site, you use the XML file to get the reviews there, but still, if you want the organic start on your organic listing, your stars to show up there, you still need to propagate your, at the very least, you'll still have to have your reviews on every page of your site somewhere if you want those pages to have the stars show up, okay? Now, if you have a service site, you can definitely still do this. You can have, just like the e-commerce site, you can have the stars show up on your search ads, you can have them show up on your organic listings. That's fine. You just have to do the same exact things. Take the reviews, use a third-party aggregator, or submit to Google Merchant through Google Merchant Center an XML file which has your reviews. Respectively, to submit the reviews manually and not using a third-party aggregator, you do have to submit a request form saying to Google why you want to be able to upload your reviews via this XML file. They have to approve you. You generally always get approved, but I will just let you know up front that you usually have to do that, and it takes a few days for them to approve you, and then they'll let you upload your XML file, for the reviews that you have for your e-commerce business or for service business, so that your ads or your search ads and or your shopping ads, both search and shopping, if you also have a product, if you're doing products, your stars show up both of those places, okay? And respectively, to get the stars to show up as much as possible on your site, each of your pages should have the review stars on there if you want all your pages to have the stars. Otherwise, it could just be the one page with the reviews on it, just to let you know from what I found, okay? It'd be nice if all the review stars would show up on every one of your organic listings for every one of your pages that rank just because you have it on one page. That's not what I've found. Things are subject to change all the time, but just so that, I wanted you to know that as well. So therefore, you want the reviews as many pages as possible if you're running a service company. If you're running a e-commerce site, you want them on the product pages, you want them on the category page if it's possible to fit it on there. Obviously, you still have to balance usability with the reviews itself and making sure that they are where they're supposed to be. And with that said, even if for the organic itself though, they pretty much have to be on the page in which you want this. If the page itself doesn't have the reviews on it, the stars usually won't show up for that page, at least in the organic section. In the PPC realm, that's not the case. Your stars will show up as long as your feed's uploaded and you have your third-party aggregator sending your data to Google, okay? Or you got your XML file sending people, and then all your ads will show stars at the same time. Same thing with the shopping. All the ads will show the stars at the same time. The organic, it'll be hit or miss based upon you having a review stars, and it makes sense why they do that, because they want it, if for a specific thing, if you have a specific service, that service itself, it has no ratings, you can't take reviews for the whole business itself and apply that to that individual service, okay? And then for a product business, it's the same way. And respectively, that's just kind of, I guess, how they handle it. They don't want to apply it to everything all at once. They're more selective, and it's more so as the reviews on the page itself that's being ranked, whether or not it shows up on organic next to your organic listing. So, with all that said, I pretty much summed it up. Great results with these stars. This is basically how to do it and the basic things that you need to know. Talking 20 to 40, if not 30 to 60 on the shopping percent increase in ROI. This is, not that complicated to do. Everybody who's doing e-commerce should be doing this, and for service businesses, same thing. If you can get enough reviews for your business, which I know it's tougher to do. Hope you enjoyed the video. I have a lot of other videos on this channel about other PPC money-making strategies. If you like this video, you should definitely check out some of my other ones. I have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build campaigns that work, are guaranteed to get results for our clients the way that I build it, or build them for our clients. I've written personally for you guys to have as well. If you want to see information along those lines broken out step by step for you, I have it there. Apart from that, if you have any questions about seller ratings or product review stars on shopping ads or schema reviews on organic search listings, leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel within a day or two. And apart from that, though, I hope you enjoyed, like I said, and I hope to see you on my next video that comes out in the next day or so as well, so you can learn something from that as well.